One Question is designed to give subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences.
Greetings, this is Tai Brown and welcome to One Question. I'm here at the 2018 AFCA convention. Our guest today is Coach Mike London. Coach London is currently the head coach at Howard. Greetings, Coach. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Now, Coach, you've been the head coach at Richmond where you won a national championship. You were the head coach at Virginia. And then last year around this time, you became the head coach at Howard. From the outside looking in, it looks like the school has taken a fresh outlook regarding football and athletics in general there at Howard, being an HBCU. Can you give us some insight on the current environment in terms of athletics there at Howard University?
Definitely. We always talk about moving forward and showing progress. And I was the associate head coach at Maryland prior to the Howard opportunity. And Kerry Davis, who's the athletic director, was a HBO executive in his former life, and President Wayne Frederick, the two of them talked about moving the opportunities and moving the perspective of athletics being something that also could be something that could be celebrated, at Howard. And that conversation started with just an initial phone call about wanting to pursue excellence, not only in the classroom. Howard has a world-class name in terms of its academic excellence, but also the ability to pursue from an athletic standpoint, and particularly football, pursuing an opportunity to be win championships on the field. So that conversation started, and initially, I thought I was maybe in the consulting part of it, but then it started turning into what some things would you need, what some things would be required. And the more we continued to talk about it, then the more those things came to fruition in something becoming concrete. And ultimately that's what happened. In the end, the athletic department's commitment, Dr. Frederick's commitment to excellence on the football field and the athletic department overall. You look at recent hires, it's been really interesting to just kind of see a transformation. The fans, the whole perspective of what's going on has been really incredible, and so I'm very, very excited to be a part of a resurgence of particularly the football program.
Right, and of course you mentioned Howard is well known, Howard Law, Howard Medical School, the academics there at Howard, and I guess what was the investment in athletics and football? Was that a part of the conversation you had when the conversation turned to you possibly being the person they were looking to hire?
Well, definitely. It's known that if you can exceed and excel in your athletic events, particularly, basketball, men and women's basketball. I mean, they already have a MEAC championship women's volleyball team. They've done excellent there. They just hired a great track coach. That was a former track athlete at Howard. And when you start talking about raising the level and the consciousness of what does it look like to compete at an FCS level, not just the MEAC level, but at an FCS level, there were some discussions. We talked about it, and things came to fruition. And so the opportunity to have experienced that, this season, and see that guys are getting it done, not only in the classroom. I'm still a big community service component of being a member of a football team or organization, but also on the field. And it was great to win a homecoming. It was great to win the seniors' last senior game. It was great to go on the road and beat people at their homecoming. And then the first game of the year against UNLV, they make national news in terms of the biggest upset. So those things have been very positive, and we're looking forward to continuing finding the profile student athlete that can come to Howard and excel, as I said, in the classroom, in the field, and in the community.
And I'd imagine you mentioned the excitement of the fans on campus, and I imagine a lot of alumni are very excited when you start seeing specifically the sport of football, doing good at an institution is kind of a window, to the world, really. So,
Without a doubt, we look at it, and it's easy to say because it's true. I mean, we are literally just moments away, minutes a drive away from the world's most powerful city. And it's one of those things that the education and the opportunity to become, we talk about black excellence, we talk about, becoming whatever it is you want to become professionally, that it can be done at a place like Howard. It can be done at HBCU and universities, so it can be done. The football, there's coaches in this league, and we're in the MEAC, and I know there's SWAC and there's other conferences that are HBCU affiliated, but there's very good coaches there, and there's good players there. So, it's important that in branding this or rebranding, the opportunities for Howard to be successful, that it's important that Dell State or Morgan State or FAMU, that there's some history that's behind some of those schools, and it's important that we continue to keep raising the profile and then supporting our HBCU colleges.
Now you mentioned those schools, the MEAC, the resurgence of Howard and what they're investing in Howard. Has that affected some of the schools you see in the conference? Have they taken the same stance in terms of, okay, you know what, this is important? I mean, some of them have been successful, pretty successful in the conference we're in, but some of them haven't, which is the case across the board. But have you seen other schools in the conference follow Howard's lead in making an emphasis on athletics and specifically football?
I believe so, and I believe part of the conversations that I've had with some of the coaches that are in the conference is that, what are some of the things that Dr. Frederick and Kerry Davis brought to the table, and hopefully it'll be seen in terms of their all-in approach to it. And I know there's different challenges, as we, different schools have different elements to how much they want to, put into the program. But I believe there is kind of a renewed sense of trying to create an environment where you can be competitive on the athletic field, and I'm hoping that not just me, but all the new hires now that are still out there. There's some coaching vacancies that are open at some of our HBCU schools, particularly in the MEAC, and I'm hoping that the opportunities, for those coaches that are going to bring in, and the assistant coaches that they bring in, and the resources will be made available. And because our league is a league that's got, like I said, good coaches and players in it.
Right. Well, Coach, I think this is excellent insight into the head coach of an HBCU and some of the things you accomplished in your first season. We hope you continue to accomplish them as you go on there at Howard. And also being a leading influence, like you said, to let people know that, hey, HBCUs can actually be competitive in a lot of these sports out there. When we're talking about football and basketball and tennis and volleyball and all those other sports. We really want to thank you for joining us here on One Question.
I tell you, I appreciate it, and good luck to you on your endeavors now here as you take the airwaves. And I'm always just a call away if you need me.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That was Mike London. Coach London is currently the head coach at Howard University, and this is Tai Brown with One Question. And keep in mind, the role of a leader is to create and maintain an environment that people want to be a part of. And as always, be better tomorrow than you are today. This episode of One Question is produced by Spades Media Group, solving problems using creative leadership.